It's been a hot topic for a really long time. I think there's been a couple influencers, especially, who have really latched onto it and really escalated the situation. But what do I think about mounts and all this stuff in the shop? So I'm going to give you a couple things of my thoughts, all right? And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the community is doing for this as well. So first of all, this has been going on from what I can remember since MOP. I remember the first thing that was ever in the shop was those helmet transmogs. I don't actually remember when that was. That might have been Cataclysm, but I have a square memory of it being in MOP where there's mounts and all this other stuff, and people are upset. People have been upset like this for like, yeah, 10 years. I mean, we're talking about 10 years. So my immediate reaction when everybody starts saying like, oh, this is a bad thing and all this stuff, it's like, what have you been doing for the last 10 years, man? I mean, it's been going on for 10 years at least, right? And I'm thinking like, I don't think the Blizzard's just releasing mounts and nobody's buying them, right? So it's just, I'm not really sure what the counterpoint to this is. If there's, even thousands of people, not millions, like just a handful of people buying them and they're satisfied with them, what's the problem? I just don't really know what the problem is. I just don't know, like, especially considering it's only $25, right? We're talking about, I need to be very clear on this too. $25 US, okay? $15 US for a monthly sub. If this is too much money for you, you really need to stop wasting time on the internet and go do something more productive with your life and advance your wealth and advance your position in your life, because this is a very small amount of money. And just for reference, I spend $31 to golf at the golf course I go to. It's not a very nice golf course, honestly. A lot of people would not want to play there. The carts are not in good shape. A lot of times it's not in great shape at all, period. Very wet. It's not great conditions. It's $31 for four, maybe 3 to 5 hours of entertainment. For $15 a month, you can play WoW infinitely. You can play as long as you want, all day, every day. There's no limit. You don't have to pay every time you enter a dungeon or something like this. And for $25, you get this mount for good. Like, this isn't some fly-by-night game that suddenly the mount is not going to be accessible after, you spending a bunch of time on it. Like, we saw this a lot with private servers. People were dumping hundreds and hundreds of dollars into private server shops, and then the server would just go away. Like, it would just literally just disappear, and you would have nothing you can do about this. So anybody who thinks like $25 for anything in this game is not worth it, I'm really questioning what you're spending your money on and where your money's going, because I don't know of anything like for the amount of entertainment you can get from this game, or really any game like it. It's unrivaled. I think this is really not a price that ever would concern me. So $25 for a single mount, I understand. Maybe it looks like a little bit, looks a little too much, but these mounts are worth the $25 price tag in my eyes. They put a lot of effort into them, and that's actually my big problem with them, is they're putting so much effort into these mounts that I think it's just really unfair, because there's so many mounts added in Shadowlands and none of them look like this. Like, you got to take a look at this actual mount. This is actually insane at how good this thing looks. It's really nuts. It casts light. So if anybody has any screenshots or anything like that, I'd love for you to send them to me. But this thing is really good looking. Like, it's high, much higher quality than probably any other mount in the game. And of course, everybody likes a cat. You know what I mean? Like, cats are just such an iconic animal. So the thing actually casts light around its head, around its paws, and off its tail. So I haven't seen it properly with like inky black on or anything, maybe in like high mountain with a shade scale or something like that. Those really dark nights, I haven't seen it, but I could imagine that it's actually really noticeable. Like, you're not going to find anything even remotely similar to this mount. So that's my main complaint with this. It's like, why are you doing this? Why are you spending this much time and putting this much effort into this single mount? Like, this is actually something that you cannot get on any other mount. Now, I understand they have to make it worth, buying years from now, and they're trying to get better at doing it. But I don't want to buy this mount. Okay? I'm not going to spend $25 on this mount because I'm never going to use it. Okay, it's not like a protest. I don't really care, honestly, like, not one bit. I'm not going to use them out, but it's so freaking cool to have if I can if I can get it, I would consider doing it. So the other complaint that people always say is, oh, you have to buy it. You can't get it any other way. But no, you can get it in game, right? I'm 90% sure about this. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I don't see why you wouldn't be able to just buy WoW tokens and then you get the Battle.net balance or whatever from that and use that to buy the mount. That would only be 2 WoW tokens. So what's that, like 500k gold? I mean, there's mounts that have been 5 million gold. So that's very easy to obtain for most people. And yeah, I mean, I guess you could kind of throw that mount on some random achievement or something like that out in the world and maybe try to make that more relevant. But like, I mean, I just don't really, I don't really see an issue with the concept of selling mounts. The only issue I have is that they're putting all these really, really, really unique mounts on the shop, and then you're never getting anything like that in game. So I do like the concept of the 6-month recurring thing mount where you just get that for free. I mean, that's a free mount. So anybody who's actually upset about that, you're not very intelligent, because you actually get that for free if you're interested in playing the game long term. Which, if you're not, then what are you worried about buying mounts for? Like, I mean, what are you doing with them? So yeah, my main thoughts on this are just that I don't really care. Like, this whole, first of all, $25, I mean, that should not be looked at as any difficult price tag for anybody, especially not for something that is that high quality. But my complaint is that they are so high quality that you're never going to see a mount like that in the game. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen, especially a mount that looks like that. I mean, it's clearly like a feline, you know what I mean? It's not like a tiger or something like that, like we've seen in a lot of other mounts. So I just hope that they can continue to add cool stuff like that. Like the fact that that mount is casting light. I really hope that they could add stuff like that to the game, because I'd love to see torches or other items in general that can cast light. And I'd like to see them go even further on that. But it does worry me that they probably won't, and that this is just some kind of one-off thing that the art department has been pushing towards. So a lot of the common criticisms, though, I just can't have much respect for at all. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the comments here, because there's a lot of really backwards stuff here, I have to say. And I just don't, I think people really need to hear what I'm going to have to say on this. First of all, before we actually take a look, you'll see this video has an immense amount of dislikes. I don't know where everybody's getting access to it. I think probably just on Wowhead. But the top comment here is, the fact that it's unlisted speaks volumes. Yeah, it speaks volumes that you have no idea what Blizzard is normally doing with its videos that are acting as promotion, because all Blizzard videos that are shown specifically for the launcher are unlisted. Not defending them, that's just the reason. So it's very embarrassing when people are just so blindly hating on this topic. Like, they actually don't have any idea what they're talking about. And almost, I mean, legitimately, I can't really see much valid criticism about this. So let's read some of these comments, and I'll tell you why I feel that way. So a lot of this is, what a time to release this. So at first, I think they're talking about the fact that, there's the the interview, or I'm sorry, the lawsuit. There's the lawsuit, and it's like, it's seemingly becoming a big part of the game's trajectory moving forward. The game's in a state where it's clearly impacting the development cycle, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be something that they can just go away. Like, this is going to be with this company for a while. But to me, this is the perfect time to release something like this. But I don't think it has anything to do with timing. Like, I think they just constantly make these things. They have like a subsection of the department working on that. And I can tell you pretty confidently that the art department is usually miles ahead of other parts of the game. Like, the big issue, I would assume, is if they ever have to pivot in terms of art. But I don't really think that happens. I think no matter what, they're good. They're making stuff so far in advance that it's actually the development, like the content development, that slows down the patches. And, maybe sometimes when they want to make a raid or a dungeon or something like that, there's a lot of assets needed. But this is not something that took them a long time to make. I mean, it's just not. And it's something that they've probably been working on over a slow build up towards maybe getting 2 of these a year, something like that. And I don't think it has anything to do with anything. But if it did, I think this is the perfect time to release it, because honestly, they need some support right now. Like, it's bad. I'm sure the game is in good hands, but it does seem like the company is completely in upheaval. And we're going to talk about that. And again, another comment. It's probably on the second page or something at this point, but The CEO of the company, Bobby Kotick, actually relinquished his salary to the minimum that he possibly could be paid, which, I mean, let me tell you how retarded California is as a state that there's actually a minimum a CEO can get paid. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? Anyway, he's actually going to take like $65,000 or something like that. That's the minimum any CEO of a tech company can be paid in California. And I'm sure he's making like millions, right? So all this nonsense where people constantly like, everything that gets done in the game is to fuel this guy's like yacht collection or something like that. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever you say, man. I'm sure you know a lot about the company, but the way I look at it is, if even a dollar of this goes towards making Blizzard, the company that produces World of Warcraft, not Bobby Kotick, better, I'm all for it, man. Like, what else? Like, what else do you want? Like, do you want the company to succeed or not? I think, like, legitimately, a lot of people don't. They don't actually want this game to succeed. They don't care about it being a good game. They don't care about themselves enjoying it. And that's really sad, man. Like, I mean, it's actually embarrassing. Like, I mean, I have to ask, like, what are your goals? Like, why are you being like that? Like, why are you acting like that? Like, if I can just give, if Blizzard came out and said, like, hey, man, if you donate $25 to me directly, we'll be a better company. The game will be in a better state. I'd probably throw $50 at them. Like, I want this game to be better. So I don't really know anything about where the money goes, but neither do you. So I don't know why so many people are so like almost like petty about it. Like Blizzard's so greedy. It's like, dude, you're getting this fucking awesome ass mount. Like, what are you talking about? What's greedy about that? And people say like, oh, the you have to pay for the expansion, you have to pay for the monthly sub. Yeah, this isn't part of that, dude. You're paying for something extra. It's optional. Do you want it or not? If you don't want it, don't buy it. And I have to ask the question, like, has anybody actually purchased one of these mounts for 25 United States dollars and felt like, man, that wasn't worth it? I I mean, they're crazy mounts, like, right? Like, I mean, and that's the problem in its own right, but it's like it's just it's kind of paying for itself, man. Like, it's an awesome ass mount. It's very little money. I mean, it's really, I can't see any downside to it. And at worst, don't buy it. Like, that's the end of the discussion for me on that topic. It's like, if you don't want the mount or you think it's greedy, then don't support it. And tell everybody you know not to support it. If you feel that way watching this video, don't buy this fucking mount. Don't stay away from the mount. That's it. Like, and the way to look at it, if you're on the other side and you're confused about this, it's like Blizzard wouldn't be making these if people weren't buying them and enjoying them, right? All they can do is seed the sales. So if people are buying them constantly, why wouldn't they keep doing it? Like, try to explain that to me. I don't understand what the negative is here. It's like they could make extra money, which is supposed to make the company a better place, right? I mean, like, what do you think they're doing with the money? They're just burning it? You really think that every dollar World of Warcraft makes goes to this guy who's now relinquished his entire salary or whatever? I don't even. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So, I support the video game. Like, I want the game to do better. So until you can prove to me that the money they make from the game isn't being used to make the game better, I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe that for a second. So nothing like this will ever be offensive to me. Because I don't buy the shit. It's a fucking waste of my money. I'm not going to use the mount, okay? So why don't you go convince everybody to not buy it, and then maybe if all you people who are fucking downvoting the thread somehow only has 7.3K, that's a lot of people, huh? 7,000 people could only be bothered. Yeah, maybe all you people could protest it. Blizzard will see, oh, we can't sell this. It's a waste of our time. We'll stop wasting resources on this. No, it's pretty clear they know how to make money, right? Does anybody think that this company doesn't know how to make money? No, I don't think anybody does think that. Maybe some idiots do, but I think most people probably just think they're manipulating the person buying it. Okay, so again, if anybody's ever purchased this and felt manipulated to buy it, let me know. I mean, I'm sure there is some, because, the mount collection achievements, and there's a lot of mounts on the store now. To me, if I was serious about the mount collection achievements, I'd be like, oh, that's great, because I can get like 20 some mounts for not a lot of work. You know what I mean? I know paying money sounds like a lot of work, but $25 for a mount, I mean, some people might make that trade even easier than I might consider it. So, yeah, not great. Another comment that we're seeing a lot here is talking about a content drought. So I want to know honestly if anybody feels like there's a content drought right now. When did you start playing the game? Legitimately, I would like to know because when I started playing the game, there was only content droughts. That's all there ever was. There was no actual content in the video game. The only thing you could do from Classic, TBC, Wrath, maybe even Cataclysm was raid. That's it. There was no Mythic Plus. PvP was barely a thing, especially in Classic and TBC. It was just not anything. I've never cared about it regardless. I mean, it's there, but there was no Mythic Plus. There was no achievements. There was no transmog. There was nothing. There was actually just raiding and leveling characters, which still exists today. And now there's Mythic Plus, and now there's achievements, there's collection, there's just so many different types of collection in this game that I'm not really sure how anybody could ever feel like there's not enough to do, considering it takes like millions of hours to potentially get all this stuff. So first of all, the other thing is that we're only 4 months into this patch. Do people realize that? I think a lot of people don't. And that is not a very it's not a very credible way to describe the patch. There's no drought of content. We just got off a patch. I mean, we're halfway through a patch, right? Like most patches are at least 6 months. In history, if you wrap them all together, they're at least, on average, you're going to see a 6-month patch. So we're not at a content drought yet. We're going to be, yes, obviously this is going to be another very long season, just like season 1 was. But there is not a lack of content for you to do in this game. This game has so much that you can do in it that you will never run out of it. But you want something that the game has given you too much of, and now like you become like almost drowned in it, right? And I don't know what that is for you, but to say there's a drought, it just really indicates like almost just an entitlement, like some kind of lack of reality there, because I literally can't find enough hours a day to play this game. And there's so many things between leveling challenges, transmog collection, leveling characters like normally, getting them, between all the gearing. And I've just gotten completely overwhelmed that I'm just not even doing it. Like I had to put so much stuff on the back burner because there's just between all these no spec characters I'm leveling. It's like, dude, I can't. It's just not possible. It's not good for my brain to play the game this much. I have to give myself breaks, and it's a complete. It couldn't be more opposite for me. I don't really understand. And I understand like Mythic Plus and rating. If you're not into that or PvP, then yeah, there's probably not. It doesn't feel like there's a lot to do, but there is. Go ahead and open up. I used to do this all the time. Go ahead and open up your achievement tab. Go through here. I would just go through them and see. Okay, let's see. Just almost just like pick random ones. Just click a bunch of times and just see which ones don't I have. Okay, let's go get Glory of the War-Torn Hero. I can go solo that right now. You know what I mean? That could be multiple days worth of playtime. It could easily be requiring me to play with other people too. A lot of times they're not something you can solo. So I don't have the BFA achievements. That's something I can still do. Between leveling all the characters, doing all the class stuff, Torghast. Korthia, I know a lot of people don't. I guess they're not in love with Korthia, despite the fact that they all spend all this time out there. But I think Korthia is excellent for all. It's going to be spending a lot of time there when the new 915 changes come. So, yeah, it's not. I just, no. You're wrong about it being a drought. And if you think it is, I think you don't actually like the video game, like the whole game. And that's a big problem, because if you feel that way, you might want to reassess why you're playing the game in the first place. If you're literally only doing it to do like, I don't know, like bleeding edge progression, yeah, you're kind of killing yourself. We talked about this in the video on Korthia, actually, where people are actually just kind of ruining the game for themselves by rushing through all this stuff and then kind of forcing themselves to hate it afterwards. So, yeah, that's not really a great one to me. More than half the player base gone. Time to profit off the whales. Yes, yeah. I mean, that's the cynical way to look at it, right? Or time to give the players what they want, right? Because again, I don't think anybody's buying this mount begrudgingly. Like, seriously, I mean, legitimately, step back and think about this. Has anybody actually purchased this mount and not wanted it? I mean, that's what you are basically saying. Profit off the whales. As if there's people who are like so hopelessly addicted to this game that no matter what no matter what happens, they just like vomit out cash. Like they don't even think about it. They don't want it. They're just doing it out of habit. That's very offensive to even. Yeah, honestly, that's very rude to even suggest that people are not in control of their own desires with this game. Like, yeah, if I want that mount, I'm gonna buy it. And you think I'm doing something wrong? You're a fucking retard. Like, stay away from me. I don't want you near me. If you think I'm not allowed to spend $25 on the hobby I'm choosing to play, because you think it's greedy, because you like want to hate the company as the default position. No, you and I won't get along with that attitude. So yeah, it is time to give the players what they want. It is time to let the players give back to the game. Honestly, right now is a great time for that. Obviously, the company needs some support, and this is not the way that the company should be supported, I think, but financially, I'm sure, they know what they're doing, and if they want to do that, then I'm fine with that. Like, whatever, that mount's awesome. So some other people are saying it looks very similar to Final Fantasy, and that they're trying to compete with Final Fantasy in that way. I don't know anything about the game, honestly. I know a lot of people who are playing it a lot now. It has zero appeal to me, but it's a cat. I mean, like, let's be serious, right? Like, I mean, maybe it looks like something in Final Fantasy, but it's just a cat. I think a lot of people like cats. I mean, I'm not a big fan of cats. Typically, I'm very, very allergic to them, but it looks pretty awesome. I mean, it's just so freaking cool looking. You're gonna see that mount, and you're gonna know exactly what it is every time, and that's part of the thing I dislike, but also, part of the other stuff. So a lot of people are saying like the current situation, talking about Bobby taking a cut, time to increase sales to earn it back. It's like that just doesn't even make sense. Like what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Who's earning it? The company is getting the money that usually is going to him instead. Everybody else in the company, they all just got extra money, right? Like that the money's being used for the company. It's not like he's just took the money and just started shredding it. He didn't put it in a shredder. He's like, I refuse to use the money that I've been given. No, he's letting the company keep that money so they can use it to be a better company. That's a good thing, right? Or do you just hate this game and this company so much blindly that you don't actually want the company to succeed? I think there's more people in that boat than you'd be surprised. But yeah, I do agree that I wish like more stuff like this was in the game. I wish, it was more spread throughout the game, because I know I can go get that mount if I want to raise 500k. I mean, I have 500k on me right now. I can easily just go buy that mount. $25 is nothing. I can get that mount if I want it. I don't want that mount. I want more mounts like it. Very unique, very almost like definitive looking mounts that when you see that, you know exactly what that is. Now, there's been a lot of them, especially those seasonal mounts like you see from PvP or even Mythic Plus. Now, I don't like that they copied the same one twice, but you know exactly what they're from when you see those things. The Infernals, like one from Gul'dan, the Giant Yeti from WoD Challenge modes. These things, you see them and you know exactly what they are. So that same thing could be said about that cat mount. And it's just a shame that I know what it's from, being I had to purchase it or make some kind of transaction above the game. Not my favorite thing. But again, I find nothing wrong with it. And you're going to see a lot of that. I think a lot of people are just like looking to be upset. I'm not really sure what they think they're going to do about it, because again, if Blizzard is making money off it, it means people want it, right? Like, again, I just can't think that there's anybody out there buying it begrudgingly or just like completely almost like I mean, really, I'd love to hear your counterpoint to that, because I just don't understand what it means. And all the people who are protesting it, great. If you don't want to buy the mount, don't buy the mount. I don't want to buy the mount because I'm not going to fucking use the mount. I'm not going to purchase it. It's completely optional. It's not like they're charging you. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. The patches are free. And it sounds like, a long time ago, that a good friend of mine told me that. I was like, ooh, that's a lot of money when you start adding it up, between the game and the cost of the servers and like being able to pay every month. And this is back in 2005, all right, when $15 a month was actually a lot, because I was a child and I made no money. But it was also 2005. So the fact that that price has not gone up every month, it's really kind of just evened out to the point where it doesn't even, I just buy the 6-month thing and I don't even, I mean, I spent $150 on golf balls every 3 months or not, more than that. So it's like, it's just not a factor. It just doesn't even matter the price wise. But if it's actually you're getting a lot of free content with this game, is my point. So I'm not surprised that they do this. Certainly, I could understand why people think it's greedy, and maybe it is, but it doesn't matter, because as long as that money is actually being used by the company and not being given to somebody who doesn't want it or need it. Like, I mean, I just don't really understand why is greed bad when a company is producing a video game? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't really get it. But yeah, it's these types of comments are the ones that really made me make this video. We're being drip-fed microtransactions in an attempt to survive the lack of real content. So that's basically the summary of all the idiocy that I could see in this topic. So when was the last time there was a microtransaction? Like generally, when was the last time? What is drip-fed? I don't even know what that person means by that, but the last one I remember was the free one that you got for being 6 months. And yes, it's free. I mean, again, it's actually free. You don't have to pay for that. If you're too fucking stupid to not be paying for 6 months subs every time you can, then yeah, you're not getting that. But why don't you do that? You're actually going to save money in the long run, unless you don't actually play the game. Wait, do you not play the game and you're not getting the mount now? Now you're upset or something? Like you're jealous or like what is it? I mean, it's a free mount. So when was the last time they made an actual mount that you had to purchase? I think there was that Fox one. I don't really pay attention because I don't buy the mounts. I don't know. I don't think I own a single store mount because I wouldn't use them. But yeah, there's no lack of content, man. If you honestly, legitimately, if you cannot find something to interest you in a video game with 16 years of development in it, with as much depth in like the leveling, you know, the different zones, the exploration, the transmog, the collection, the mounts, it's really hard to believe anybody actually feels like objectively there's a lack of content in this game when you compare it to a game like, I mean, like, look at Mario Brothers. Like, you know, it was literally just beat the levels and that's it. I mean, people speedrun games that used to spend $60 for. They speedrun them in an hour or less. I mean, like, legitimately, some of the most marquee video games ever made, like Pokemon, go make Pokemon Gold speedruns. Go look at that. It's 2 hours. You know what I mean? They beat it in 10 minutes with glitches. It's like, no, this game. So tell me about a WoW speedrun. Like start thinking about what a WoW speedrun would be like, and then you're comparing them to games that are actually, you know, $60 from 20 years ago, and it's like, no, the game and all games in general have only given more and more and more. You just want too much, and you want something that's unrealistic, and it's really important that you stop doing that because it's not the game that's going to be able to solve this for you. You're going to have to solve this yourself. There's no way that you know, if that level of expectation continues to rise for you, that any game could keep up, that any studio can keep up. You're really not paying that much money for this game. It's not like you're paying like thousands of dollars a week, or you know, like you're some part of some exclusive founders club where you're investing massive amounts of money into this game and you don't think you're getting your reward for it. You're paying fucking $15, dude. It's $30 to eat a meal around here. One meal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a lot of money. So yeah, I don't really have any respect for this conversation at all. But then this is the one that, like, you know, is the nail in the coffin for me. Blizzard either has the biggest balls or the smallest brains to do this right now. I think I've made my point pretty clear. Like, if you can't support this company, if you don't want them to be supported, if you don't want them to earn money, if you are so almost the opposite of greedy, I mean, you're being greedy yourself, right? Like, this is a game that is trying to sell you something that you might want, and all you could say is they have the smallest brain for doing that. Like, do you want the mount or not? If you don't want the mount, don't buy it. If you do want the mount, then you buy it, and you don't even have to buy it yourself. You can go get 500,000 gold and have somebody else buy it for you. I mean, that's effectively what that is, right? So I don't know who has the biggest balls or the smallest brain. I think it might be Stab You Son. I don't think it's Blizzard because honestly, I think they know exactly what they're doing. I think a lot of people are happily buying these mounts. The you know, the metrics that they're getting are probably indicating that. So all these, you know, the 7,000 people protesting on this video, I think they're the minority. They're just the ones who have a lot to say. So I hope people will stop being like this, honestly, and I don't think they're going to. But honestly, if you're on that fence, all I want to say is, you know, do whatever you want, take your stand, be you know, as obnoxious about it as you want. I don't really care. I don't buy the mounts anyway. I literally don't give a fuck about this. But just be aware that you're really ruining this game. And you know, if Blizzard starts selling like gear or shit that like actually matters for progression, then I could start to see the argument. But until they do, it's entirely optional shit, and they are a for-profit company. So do you want them to be able to continue making profits? Do you want that company to succeed? Yeah, okay, so maybe there's some graft or maybe like corruption or greed or something ruling parts of the company. Well, show me a company that's not like that. I mean, like, legitimately, I'm not sure of one. If you don't want that, then yeah, you probably should stop worrying about the game because you're actually making the people who do want that you're making it very difficult for them to continue caring. You know what I mean? Like it's very difficult for me to sit here and this mount comes out and I just can't even look at it objectively anymore because I know all this childishness that's going to be surrounding that. And people are acting like this mount like costs like a raid tier or something. Like, I mean, there's people out there who are literally saying like this shouldn't be being made. They should be putting that resources into development of the game. It's like how clueless are you? I mean, that's really an embarrassing statement to make. So the smallest brain, I think you guys firmly got that under control. Don't worry about Blizzard. I think they know what they're doing, making money wise. And if you don't want if you don't want them to succeed, I understand. You can wage your war against Blizzard, but all I ask is you stop waging your war against me and other players who just want to play the game and have a good time. And I don't want to keep seeing this over and over and over again, man. Where every time something happens, it's people are like, "Lol, this company, lol." Just move on, man. It's so unhealthy. I promise you. I don't. I should go get like a proper degree on this because I don't feel confident talking about this. But I've looked at this a lot. This kind of stuff where you're just constantly thinking about things that you don't like and you're unwilling to give up stuff that you don't like. This is very, very bad. It's very bad for your brain chemistry. So I would recommend looking into it. But anyway, I just wanted to give my thoughts on this, and I look forward to reading the comments.